Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's tutorial. And in today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you guys how to draft a corset with a plunging neckline and a back waistline. So if this is something you'd like to learn, let's just get right into the video. So we're going to start by rolling a line which is going to serve as our starting line, and from there we're just going to impute all our measurements, which are from our shoulder to our bust point, shoulder to our under bust, shoulder to our waist, and I added 5 inches or 4 inches for the back's waistline. So whichever that works for you, it's completely fine. So we're just going to go ahead to rule our vertical lines. For the beginners, these are the lines that every other measurement will be done on. Like these are the lines that our basic bodies will be done on, and every other drafting will take place. So after doing this, the next thing we're going to do is to come up by 2 inches, which is going to serve as our chest line, and then we're going to mark 7. My shoulder is 7 inches, and I added half inches for joining of our sleeve. So we're just going to mark 7.5, and then our neck width and our neck depth, the standard one, 3 to 3. So we're just going to take down, and then we're going to step down by 1 inch, and then we're going to connect it to our neckline. So let me just label so it doesn't get confusing. So this part is a bit fast because I have a lot of basic bodies tutorial on my channel. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to look for our armhole curve. So by doing that, we're just going to take our bust measurement divided by 4, which is what I did, and then see what I'm just doing. You're just going to divide your armhole from your armhole slants to the chest line. You're just going to divide that into 2. Whatever you get, you're just going to mark, and then you come in by half inch, just like so, and then you connect all these curves together. Remember, our armhole in front isn't straight, there's a curve in front of it. So there's a curve beside the armpit. That's why we're actually doing this. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mark our nipple to nipple. Take your nipple to nipple from one nipple to the other. That is our nipple to nipple divided by 2, and we're just going to roll that all the way to the full length. So now the next thing, to get our shoulder darts, well, on our shoulder slants, we're just going to divide that into 2, just like so, and mark. And then we're just going to connect it all the way to our nipple to nipple measurement. The dart that we took there, we're just going to connect from the shoulder down to that part, just as you see me doing, like so. So the next thing we're going to do is our underbust tightening. On our underbust, we are going to come in by 1 inch. If you want to come in by 3/4 of an inch, it completely works. Excuse me, very fine, just like so. So we're just going to come in by 1 inch, just like so, and then we are going to connect from the underbust to the full length, just like so. And on the side, just from the underbust, you're going to make a curve to the bust point, as you see me doing, like so. You're just going to connect it to the bust point. From the bust point, if you want to step down by half inch, it works very fine, but I like doing it like this. So for the upper bust tightening, we're going to come up on the chest line by 1 inch if it's okay with you, like that, by 1.5 if it's okay. Like this is where you're going to make adjustments on your yoke. If you don't want your yoke to be too exposing, you can come up by 1.5 inch. Marking that is a guide for you to make your plunging yoke. Then at the center front, just like so, you're still going to determine how deep you want it to be. Do you want it to get to the bust point? If you want it to be deep, it's fine. And if you don't want it to get to the bust point, so you can just come up from the bust point by 1 inch, and you can use your free hand if you want to do so, and you can use your curve ruler if you also want to do so. It completely works very fine. So now you're just going to take this measurement, you're going to draft this yoke line until you get what you want. So at this point, I wasn't really that satisfied with what I got, so I had to use my curve ruler because I noticed a part was, looking too deep. Like I said, before you make your upper bust tightening, you're just going to decide how deep you want your yoke to be, how you want the top to be covered. Some persons like it to be exposing, some doesn't. So at this point, this is how you're going to determine it. So you're just going to make a curve from the under bust as you see me doing down to the bust point where your yoke started, as you see it on the drafting paper. So now before that, I was just trying to still lift my yoke a bit. Like I said, this is where you're going to do all those adjustments. So now we're going to take our upper bust tightening. We're just going to make the tightening at this top. So that's why you're doing the yoke before you make the tightening. You can't just go ahead and make the tightening when you haven't done your yoke. So you can still come in by 1 inch if you want to, or 3/4 of an inch, whichever one that works for you. You can still do that. So we're just still going to make a curve as you see me doing, just like so. And on this other side too, you're just going to make a curve again, just like so. Please, if I'm a bit fast, I'm really sorry. I don't want this video to be very, very long, so just take your time. You definitely understand. Gradually you can see that on the center front, our cup is out. So now this space that is left in between the yoke and the ample there, you're just going to divide into two, and then you make another curve, just like so, meeting the other end, just like so. You can see automatically our cups are out. This is an easy way to draft your corset. It's really not something that difficult. Just take your time, you understand it. So I'll still taking my time looking at my yoke if I'm really satisfied with it or not at this point. So now the next thing you're going to do is I'm just trying to make it to be visible so you get to see what the cups look like at this point, so you can see how beautifully our cups are created out. So we're just going to label 1 and 2, and basically that's just it. So at this point, we're just going to take our body measurement plus the dart, and then your sewing allowance, whichever that works for you. So now you just roll to the waistline. So at this point, it's a back waistline, but before I do that, there are so many ways you can make different waistlines. So you can just make a curve. This is just an additional, just like a bonus. So you can just make a curve, just like so. You can see this is now giving that C shape or something. I don't know how to, just describe it. You can just be creative at this point, and it's not compulsory that it must be backs. Like whichever that you want to do, you can just, do it at this point. So if you still want it to be straight too, this is how you're still going to do it. From your waist, you're just going to take it down. But when you're cutting, you're just going to add half inch to it. So now if it's a blouse, you're just going to add the full length. You're just going to come in by your waist measurement divided by 2, just like so, and then you curve. You can see how it is. I came down by 1 inch, half inch from the waist, went up by half inch, so I can make a curve. You can see how it is. If it's a full blouse, this is what you're going to do. There are just different ways to make a curve. Like I'm just adding this, so you have idea if you're making it a blouse, or you want to attach it to a skirt, or you want to keep it separately. This is how you're just going to do the empire. But we are actually drafting a bag, so it's just an addition. So basically this is just how to draft your front bodies. If you're making an half cut or a back waistline, this is what you're just going to do. Like I said, it's really nothing that serious. Just take your time and you'll definitely understand it. So at this point, as we've removed our dart, you can see that one side is longer than one side. It's nothing to panic. So you're just going to put those parts together. I'm just trying to place it so you see how it is. You're just going to connect those parts together and you just cut it out. Like it's really nothing that serious. So now at this point, for the cups, you're just going to go ahead and add 1 inch sewing allowance all the way all round for the cups if you're cutting on your main material, or you can go ahead and add whichever allowance that works perfectly for you. But I think 1 inch is completely fine, and it's going to cover your cups. So basically that's just everything for the front bodies. It's really nothing that's difficult. Just take your time, you will understand it. So now for the back, we're still just going to go ahead and rule our starting line, and then we're going to take our measurements. Some of the measurements I took at this point. Like I really didn't need them, but I actually did them because of the beginners. So for people who will be using zipper, we're going to come in by 2 inch for our zipper allowance. Then from there, we start marking our shoulder to our bust point, under bust, waistline. And for this back, there's no back, so you're just going to add 2 inch sewing allowance at this point. So now this is what I have done. So you can see the zipper separate. This is our chest line, our bust point, our under bust, waist, and full length. And then we're still going to take our shoulder measurement just as we did in front, and our neck width for the back is still the standard 3 to 1, and on the armhole we're still going to come down by 1 inch. Then we just rule connect it to the neck just as we did in front, but the difference here is we're not going to make that curve because the back is wider compared to the front, so we are not just going to make that curve, it's still going to be like this. So on the bust points, we're just going to come in by our nipple to nipple, which is 4 inch, and then we step down by 1 inch because the back does not have any bust, so we are going to step down so we can create our dart. So I'm just taking the nipple to nipple back again so I know my lines will be straight. So we're just going to connect down. So for people who will be using loop at the back, this is the point you just have to be careful. Some persons just go about, deducting whichever amount of inches they want to deduct. Like for example, what I'm doing now, they just go ahead and remove 1 inch and create diamond yoke, and at the end of the day when they want to try their dress, they find themselves suffocating because completely they've removed 4 inches from their waist, 4 inches, 5 inches, and they are not aware of it. You can see how wide it's looking. This is not what I actually used, but I'm just showing you how it is. Like, using that, completely says, what you can wear, what you don't get to suffocate in. You can see how wide it is. So by the time you now join together, you're just wondering, why is this thing looking so tight? This is what caused it. So now for people using the zipper on the waist, you're just going to come in by 1 inch and go up maybe with 3 inches or 3.5 inch, whichever that works for you. And at that point too, you're going to come in by half inch. Now the aim of this is so your zip will not be bulging out. So I'm using one back to satisfy two persons, people using zipper with yoke and people using loop with yoke. I'm just doing all of them together. Please don't confuse yourself. Just take your time. If you are for zipper, just work with it. If you're for loop, still carefully watch it and you're going to know where to pick. So now this is for the zipper. You're just going to do it like that. So by the time you add your zip, everything is going to zip. Your zip will not be bulging out at this point. So for people who are using loop, so on the bust point or the chest line, you're just going to come in by 3 inch, 3.5 inch, depend on how wide you want the back to look, but 3 inch is okay. And at the top of the yoke, you're just going to come down by 1 inch. So and then you make your curve. That's if this is how you want the back of your yoke to look. This one too is also for people using zipper because the top can be yoke and the down can be zipper. So that's where you're going to put your pins and you just connect. So, or if you don't even want that one too, from your shoulder down to where we took the 3 inches measurement, you can still roll down. It's not compulsory, there must be a pin at the back. So that's the only yoke there. Your shoulder and back, at back and front will just connect, or you make it a V if that's how you want it to be. So after whichever that is okay with you, it's completely fine. I'm just sharing different ideas with you guys. So the next thing we are going to do is for people who are also using zip and okay, for people rather that are using a loop, so we're just going to come in by 1 inch or 1.5 inch. So you see some of those bags that are covered beneath, then the top will open. This is how it's done. So from the yoke end, you can just come in by 1 or 1.5, and you start, this is the place you start taking putting your eyelet. So you can just mark 2 inch at that point. Automatically 4 is being open, the back is 2. So if it's 2.5, 5 is being open. So that's just how it is. So by the time you get to the end, it will cover your body. So now after that, you just take your measurement. And when you're taking your measurement, even for the zipper people, don't start from the front, continue from the zipper part, even the loop people. So you have, sometimes after sewing, you don't know why you don't have enough space. It's because you started from the beginning and not from, the loop and the other parts of the zipper. So like I said, I didn't use that. I just came in by half inch, just like so, and I fixed my dart. I don't want the dart dropping. You see what I did later. I just fixed the dart. So when I'm cutting on my main material, I don't want any mark at the back, because when you're using a loop and there's a mark and you don't stitch firmly, sometimes you just see that it begins to rip off. So that's just everything for the back. You're just going to take this out, and you just close. I didn't use zipper, so I was just trying to illustrate how you can use zipper, how you can use loop together. So just watch and take the one that you know works for you. And basically that's just everything for this tutorial. So you're just going to cut out your yoke. And please, when you're doing on your back, that it's safer to say just cut your back straight after drafting. Just cover the dart line, and just like this, cover the dart line just like this before cutting on your main material too. And basically that's just everything for this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.